add just a touch of watercolor to our contour line flowers. Now take a look at your picture and decide which colors you think you're going to need and wake them up by adding just a little drop of water or two into each paint color that you think you're going to want. I want yellow, I want green. What else did I have in here? I think I had some purple happening. I had some pink, so I can't really make, I don't have a pink color, so I'm going to use a light red. So I'm going to get red ready. I think I'm going to wake them all up, all the pretty colors, because one of the other things I might do is mix some colors. Now your assignment here is to add a touch, a very light touch of watercolor to enhance your flower drawing. You can overdo this in a big way. So we're going to practice right here, next on a next page or a blank spot you have in your sketchbook, or even just some scratch paper, as long as it's a kind of heavy duty scratch paper. Here's what I want to see you practice. We use the palette tray, the lid of the watercolor set. It's called a palette because it's also there to mix colors. So I might take blue and put it there. If I took this blue right out of the tray and painted on my paper, it's going to be a really bright blue, too bright for my picture. But I can use the palette on my tray and add more water to that color. Over here I'm adding water in the tray to basically water the color down. Now when I paint it on there, I can get a much paler blue. This is what we're going for. We're doing what's called a wash of color. Go ahead and test that in your sketchbook before you begin your flowers and ruin them. We want to see the black ink drawing, and I will take points off if you've ruined your black ink drawing with too much paint. Here's another one I'm going to test. Here's my green. That's way too dark. I'm going to take that green. I'm going to put it in the tray. I'm going to add some water to it to water it down a whole lot. And before I ever put it on my good drawing, I'm going to test it on my sketchbook page. It's much lighter now. Now the other thing you can do with your color sets, I have blue and green here. Blue and green are friends. They make some nice colors. So maybe I'll change up my green so it's not always the exact same green. I can make a yellow green or a blue green. So now I've got a different green. I just checked it in my sketchbook to decide if I like it, and I do kind of like it. So let's start with that. I'm going to watercolor my stems really carefully. And if it doesn't stay perfectly in the lines, that's okay, as long as you are as careful as can be. Notice I have a really big brush here. It's the only brush I happen to have, so I'm going to do what I can with what I've got. Just a touch of color. And when I mean a touch, I'm just sometimes just touching the page like that and leaving some white. It's okay. It doesn't have to be painted in perfectly. Now wait, whoops. That was part of the flower petal. I think I just started to paint it green. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to leave it. It'll look like a shadow when I'm done. I'll put a little more in there. Where else do I need to add this? You know what? I want to change up my green, so I'm going to go ahead and put some here. And I'll add just this touch of green down here on this stem at the bottom. And notice one more time, I didn't just fill it in solid, I left some white. Try that. Leave some of the white paper showing. I'm going to go back to my palette tray up here. I'm taking some of that green, cleaning my brush so I don't wreck my yellow. I'm going to make a yellowy green. Check it. Always checking it. That's not too bad, not too dark. I'm going to use that one to paint in the green on my stem of that daisy flower, and maybe I'll just go ahead and do this one too. Okay. Now I remember the center of that daisy being bright yellow, so I'm going to just take the yellow paint. I'm going to check it. That's really, really dark yellow. I could even water it down right there on the paper if I wanted. But I don't want a big bright yellow ruining my picture before I put a little yellow that was in that center of the daisy. If you have to go back and look at your pictures, please do that. Now, the daisy petals were white, so I think I'll just leave them white. Maybe I'll go back to that. Let's see, now this was a pretty pink purple. I'm going to take some purple. Wow, look how dark that purple is. Look at the dark purple I made. No good. Definitely not going to work. Lots of water. Try it again. Still really dark. And now I'm going to go ahead and just add a touch of that purple color. Be careful with your water. If your water is getting away from you, do what's called squeegeeing off your brush. Squeeze your brush with your fingers or a towel, and then you can actually pick up some of that water with your brush. It's almost like a sponge. So like I said, just adding a touch of color, super light, super pale, so that I can still see when I'm grading your contour line drawing. Now I wanted to make pink. I'm gonna put some red on my palette here. Oops, it got a little muddy. There was some black in there. I'm gonna check my color. Ugh. That's like a brown. That's gross. Try that again. That's a little bit better. Now by watering it down, I'm going to make it look more of a pink and less of a bright red when I go to paint in this flower. One more time. I'm going to leave some white just for kicks. You don't need to color it in. Solid color.